Today on Moontrap, Khloe and Kim Kardashian's alleged revenge against Prince Harry and Meghan Markle over Kris Jenner's birthday photogate. Watch to the end and let us know your thoughts.
Who would have thought it that the Kardashians are perhaps more classy than royalty? Because I think Kim and Kourtney did a pretty epic takedown of Prince Harry and Meghan Markle on the whole photogate debacle over Kris Jenner's birthday party. It is a hilarious little bit where Kim and Khloe definitely say they respect something, but it's not Harry and Meghan. So guys, we are going to get into this latest addition to the whole photo drama, unbelievably stupid debacle that Prince Harry and Meghan Markle ended up creating last year, because this didn't have to happen. Again, this is all self-inflicted. So guys, again, we are going to get into this, but if you haven't been to Royal News Network before, my name is Brittany. I do provide compelling royal commentary, so please hit that subscribe button. I'd absolutely love to have you back. So let's go ahead and remind ourselves what happened last year, because Harry and Meghan went to Kris Jenner's birthday party. And the two of them appeared to have an absolutely lovely and glorious time. They were partying with the Kardashians, getting their picture taken with them. Harry was staring at Kris Jenner's rack. And then all of a sudden, after the party, the pictures were posted. And then within an hour, they were taken down of Harry and Meghan at this party with the Kardashians. And these were internal pictures. These were pictures taken at the venue. And they weren't iPhone pictures. You could tell they were taken with a professional camera. And then all of a sudden, they disappeared. And nobody, let's say, quite knew why. I mean, we all suspected. But it soon became sort of this bigger and bigger story, because Harry and Meghan's camp claimed that they did not give permission. And the Kardashians are like, there was no consent form, guys, for anybody to sign for this party for picture releases. That was actually not a thing. And that incident is actually what led Meredith Maines to, I guess, resign, as she resigned right after that happened. Now, it's claimed that that wasn't the sole reason, but think about it. Harry and Meghan publicly went to a party, got photographed walking into the venue, deliberately took pictures with people, knowing there was a camera there. And then all of a sudden we're like, oh yeah, it's Remembrance Sunday tomorrow, isn't it? As Harry is literally wearing a poppy walking in. Now, if you don't know what Remembrance Sunday is, it's sort of a really big, somber celebration in the UK. It is a critical date on the royal calendar, like absolutely critical. And it's a time to remember all the service members who have been lost in combat. And it particularly goes back to World War I, because when it comes to the two world wars, the UK citizens lost a lot of soldiers in that initial First World War, more than the other wars. And the Tomb of the Unknown Soldier in Westminster Abbey represents that loss. And it was very famous and notable, and has become a bridal tradition for royal brides to leave their bouquets on the tomb of the unknown warrior, because Queen Elizabeth, the Queen Mother, who lost one of her brothers in the conflict, did that on the date of her wedding. So that has become a tradition. The Tomb of the Unknown Soldier is also the only tomb in Westminster Abbey that you can't walk on. So you can walk on, who's out there? Handel's there. We also have Darwin, I think. And then we have, Isaac Newton, I think, is there as well. There are a lot of very famous people who are buried, obviously, in Westminster Abbey. But the only tomb you can't physically walk on, because it's the slab in the floor, is the Tomb of the Unknown Warrior. It's always surrounded by poppies, and it started with World War I, and it's something that continues to this day. And we don't know who is buried in that tomb. The idea of the unknown warrior is that it's everyone and no one. So everybody who has lost somebody whose body they couldn't find, either they buried it in the field, let's say in a mass grave, or, when airplanes became a thing, sometimes there were crashes and they never found the wreckage, or the boat sank and they couldn't recover the bodies, like those sorts of things. You could go to the Tomb of the Unknown Warrior, and this, of course, is now something in many, many countries. You could go to that tomb and you could recognize your dead loved one and think, maybe that's my dead loved one there. And so it is a place for you to mourn. And so Remembrance Sunday is a very, very critical time. It goes back to remembering the troops, that thing that Harry's really, really attached to, because Prince Harry, through the Invictus Games, really does seem to think he is the voice of all veterans. So a veteran doesn't remember Remembrance Sunday? You know, when he and his wife did a whole photo shoot in a U.S. cemetery, by the way, trampling over the graves of others with a Vogue photographer in tow so they could get a picture because Prince Harry was told, yeah, no, you can't lay a wreath on Remembrance Sunday. I mean, that was probably one of the most disgusting displays Prince Harry and Meghan Markle have ever done. And then to go, oh yeah, well, I guess it's Remembrance Sunday tomorrow. Can you take those pictures down, please? I can imagine the Kardashians were not very amused. But Kim and Khloe, in this particular clip, talking about the situation, handle it, I think, in a very classy way. And it's a way that you could say that they're subtly, and I think very purposely, throwing Harry and Meghan under the bus. And I don't think Kim Kardashian or Khloe are fans. So guys, let's go ahead and watch this little reaction. And guys, I had heard something else has come out about the party recently. But anyways, we have like, again, the full breakdown. This was posted by Queen Esther. And it's just this little clip. So, and Kim's hair looks ridiculous there. I just gotta say, her hair looks insane. But this is rather hysterical.
Meghan Markle.
Number one, she doesn't call her the Duchess of Sussex. She calls her Meghan Markle. That's an obvious disrespect. Because you know Meghan will want to be known as Duchess of Sussex, or at least Meghan Sussex at the very least. She gets very wrinkled, as we've seen with Mindy Kaling when you call her Meghan Markle.
Oh.
We just got to listen to that again. Kim goes, oh. Like, it's like an awe sad, as it feels very much to me like, if you know the Southern saying, there's a saying in the South, although ironically, I think I learned it in Wyoming, that you can say basically anything about someone, like if it's negative or something like that, if you just start off and go, bless their heart, and then you can tell the story. I feel like that's really what Kim is doing there. And so I should preface this entire video with going, just bless their hearts, Harry and Meghan, because the only thing I can think of is that they were too stupid to remember that it was Remembrance Sunday that weekend. And that makes them both look really, really bad. But again, let's listen to the gloriousness of Meghan Markle. And then I'm going, oh, poor soul.
Meghan Markle.
Oh, the photo
gate from Mom's 70th.
It was really innocent, which is...
So she calls it really innocent. And from the Kardashian perspective, it was. And then she gets into this.
So crazy. Mom and Meghan have been friends for some years now, and they have a really sweet relationship. We took a photo.
And I do want to say here, I find it really interesting that Kris is close with Meghan, but apparently none of the other Kardashian girls are. Meghan obviously is close in age to Kim and Khloe and Kourtney, and they all have kids. Wouldn't you think she'd want to hang out with other people who have kids? But my particular theory is that Meghan is always on the hunt for a sugar mama, a older woman who has a lot more money and influence than her that she can grift off of. That is always what Meghan is searching for. And although Kris is quote unquote close, I think Kris is of course well aware of the grifting, and she's close in the sense that they talk, but they're not like super close. We haven't heard of Meghan ever hanging out with them really much or anything like that. I think they like see each other occasionally, but they're not picking up the phone and chatting. Again, that's just my personal opinion, because I just find it really funny that Meghan constantly gloms on to older women who are more successful than she is. Like, you could see it as a mentorship, but I'll have to do a whole separate video on this, because obviously, if you watched the video yesterday, so that was January 27th, I talked about how Meghan's Valentine's campaign was terrible. And she has put a photo on her website that honestly looks like, she looks like a crazy person stalking people at like a country club. Like, she looks insane. And she is terrible at marketing. And so you would think if she's glomming on to these women that they could help her. But number one, I don't think they can totally help her. But number two, I'm sure Meghan is probably wanting investor money, and they definitely don't want to give that. They're smart enough to stay way away from that.
And then I think we were all going through them. We're all, communicating about like what we're going to post.
So I thought that was interesting, because she's saying they, so could it be her sisters, or it could be like Harry and Meghan too. I'm letting you know, hey, I'm going to post these pictures. Like, this is what we're going to do. I'd be curious if that was just between the family or them or what have you. But gets more interesting.
We're never ones to post without permission.
So they are never ones to post without permission. Yes. So they are very much throwing Harry and Meghan under the bus, going, we don't post without permission. We asked you if you wanted your pictures here and you said yes. We were just following, what you had laid out for us. And because Harry and Meghan going back and going, oh, no, we signed consent forms saying we didn't want our photos shared. It makes the Kardashians look bad. They were trying to throw the Kardashians under the bus, which is incredibly stupid. They're some of the most powerful people in Hollywood at this point are the Kardashians. I don't think anybody in Hollywood ever suspected that would be the case, but it's true. And so you don't want to tick these women off. And to blatantly just lie to the press about them is insane. And I'm sure they weren't expecting sort of the blowback from this. But again, this is what happens when you tend to deal with Harry and Meghan. It just never goes well.
We are it's not who we are.
We're very respectful.
Yeah.
So they're saying we're very respectful. We would not, go out of our way. And they're basically they're saying Harry and Meghan are not. And they're basically saying, in my opinion, Harry and Meghan are liars. They were lying when they said we didn't have permission or we did it without their consent or whatever. It's no. They're lying. We are respectful. We ask. We don't post without permission. And Harry and Meghan, of course, they just burn every bridge. It's insane.
We have the craziest, funnest photos from that night, but we were posting just fun photos. And so
dignified photos.
So there's two ways to roll with that. Number one, I'm sure there were many undignified photos from that party, and it was just people having fun. Not my definition of fun, but other people's definition of fun, which is totally fine. Again, my definition of a club is we go to the British Museum after hours and they play the piano guys, or the piano guys are playing, and we get to look at the history. That's my definition of club. Quiet and not too many people. So very different setup than this party. But you could also say that Chloe's laughing going, yeah, there's some very undignified pictures of those two that we did not post, by the way. And you got to think, they have all the pictures. So if there's some really bad pictures of Harry and Meghan, they got them. And they can lord it over the two of them forever, I guess.
You were totally. We were told that it was totally cool to post. And then after it was posted, I think they realized it was Remembrance Day.
Which again makes Harry and Meghan look stupid. They look stupid. It was a well-known date on the calendar. They had just had the Festival of Remembrance. Harry has made his entire freaking platform about veterans, and he can't remember Remembrance Sunday when he has a poppy on his lapel? They look like idiots. They really do. There is no excuse for that. If you are an average British citizen, yes, Remembrance Sunday is a big deal, but it's not something that probably impacts your day-to-day really all that much on the day. I guess I should say not day-to-day, but on the day. It probably doesn't affect you too much. Obviously, there might be more traffic. It might be more difficult to get to certain parts of town. That's what you're dealing with, and you might, hold a moment of silence yourself. But for most people, it's not a massive focus of their calendar, whereas for the royals, it is. And until Harry left the royal family, it was a huge part of his yearly duties was going to that. You can't tell me that the doofus didn't know when Remembrance Sunday was, and that Meghan didn't know when Remembrance Sunday was, and that they walked into the party with a poppy on Harry's lapel, completely and utterly ignorant of the fact that it was the next day. They sound like idiots. They really do. It's there's no other word to describe that. You cannot feign ignorance here. You can feign ignorance, let's say on smaller dates, or, a conflict comes up or something like that, or a state visit or something, because maybe sometimes those are announced not too far in advance. And so you've already had something planned, those things I get. This is a yearly occurrence that happens every single year of every royal's life for the end of time. Is Remembrance Sunday, and he didn't know, or they didn't know, And I'm sure the Kardashians are sitting there going, are you serious right now? Like, we just posted. We went through your people to confirm we could post. We talked to you, asking you. We took pictures with you, asking, and like, you know, it was under the understanding that we could post. And then you're going, oh yeah, it's Remembrance Sunday. Whoops. No, you can't play that card.
And they didn't want to be seen at a party, even though it's already up.
Which again makes Harry and Meghan look dumb. The sin has already been committed. You can't take it back. You already walked into the party. You saw the paparazzi. You can't walk this back. And so for them to attempt to just makes it look worse. It draws more attention to their ignorance and stupidity than it takes away from it. You already went. Just own it. And that's, I think, what they're thinking. Like, they're being very measured here, but I think there was some extreme annoyance.
You know, and then taken down. And then I think they realized, like, oh, this was so silly.
And they did baby to baby right before.
Well,
they
it's
did
like a charity event. So, like, that was fine, but maybe not partying and dancing on the dance floor. And
there's nothing wrong with going to a party. But the problem always for Harry and Meghan, what they seem to not understand, and this is something I've talked about recently, actually, on the Crown Report, talking about how Charles, although I guess it was a lease, but all the headlines went with King Charles gets £160,000 car. There's not really a lot of avenues where that headline will play well right now. It's in the midst of winter, which is a really expensive time of year because people have to heat their homes. So that's costing them a lot of money. And so the last thing you want to do as a sovereign is go around going, hey, look at my £160,000 vehicle over there. Isn't that awesome? No, you don't want to do that. And this is the same thing. Like, you don't want to look frivolous. It's just about optics. And with Harry being so closely tied to the military, making that a huge, enormous part of his platform with the Invictus Games and everything, it was sheer stupidity to go. It was. Or to be seen going. Other people slipped in behind, and there were not a lot of pictures taken. And of course, we had Harry grinding on the dance floor looking at Kris Jenner's rack. So there's that. So they were doing things they knew better than to do. And then to put it on the Kardashians, basically, and blame them. It's like, no, this was your guys' fault. And because they want to live in two worlds, Harry and Meghan, they want to be royal and not royal. They want all the trappings of royalty, all the respect of royalty, but they don't want to do the royal duties. They don't want to do anything. And so they use it willy-nilly. Well, you're held to a higher standard then. If you're just going to be a average private citizen, Harry Sussex, Meghan Sussex, these sorts of things, you can go to the Kris Jenner party for Remembrance Sunday and not feel bad. But you claim to be royalty. You claim to be the son of the king. You claim to be a huge representative of the armed forces. It's dumb to go to a party the night before one of the most somber moments of the entire freaking year of the royal calendar so you can go party with the Kardashians. That's just dumb. That's just no other word for it.
whatever. So...
Whatever. So, like, they are not fans of Harry and Meghan, I don't think, after this. Like, they try to play it off pretty nice, but they are not fans.
We took them down
because we're
to respect
respectful.
Remembrance Day.
Yeah.
I thought that was interesting. Not out of respect for Harry and Meghan, but out of respect for the day. That's why they took them down. And yes, obviously, maybe it was respect for Harry and Meghan, but I really don't think it was. I really think they were like, oh, let's look it up. Oh, this is important. Let's go ahead and take it down for Remembrance Sunday, not for the two of them. And as a byproduct, especially if, let's say, the other Kardashian girls are not a fan of Meghan, she looks kind of silly on the international stage and they get to come out of it scot-free. But then, of course, Harry and Meghan double down going, we did not give our consent. And so I just can't, like, it's hard to fathom this level of dumb, like, it really is, on the international stage, making these series of obvious errors constantly. It's just insane.
Yes.
And then you just gotta laugh at like the situation sometimes and just like lighten it up and if everyone's taking it the wrong way, like lean in.
So I thought that was very interesting too. She's like, if people are taking it the wrong way, lean in. But Harry and Meghan don't, because again, they want to play this really, really strange game where they're doing kind of everything and nothing. And the result is chaos. This is why their PR is such an epic disaster. They're wanting to play all sides. And when you're trying to please everyone, as they say, you end up pleasing no one. And I feel like that's very much the case for Harry and Meghan. They're trying to do everything and they're ending up with nothing. And the smarter thing to do in this particular instance would be to take like 6 big steps back, like 6 huge, massive steps back, like reorganize, rejigger, like refigure out what they're going to do and make decisions with competency rather than just like flippancy as they're doing. And this was a mistake that was 100% avoidable. And they should have just gone with it. I think what you could said, just go lean into it. Kim was right. Harry and Meghan should have just leaned into the party and just let it go. The story would have died. But now it's even being resurrected 3 months later. Why? Because they made it such a big deal. And when you make something a big deal, unfortunately, it just has this knock-on effect. Rather than, and like, this is something Harry and Meghan have done numerous times. Rather than letting something blow over, they seem to want to address everything going on in the media. And it just expands it. It just makes the footprint bigger. And usually, like 99.9% of the time, it is to their detriment rather than to their benefit. Harry and Meghan already committed the sin of going to the party when they knew they shouldn't have. They already were seen at the party. They were grinning ear to ear as they were entering the party, or at least Meghan was. They were pictured with the Kardashians. They could have said when asked to take pictures, "Oh no, we're good. We don't want any of our pictures taken and shared." They could have done that. They didn't. And it was only like after the pictures were shared and they got some criticism for it, they're like, "Oh yeah, Remembrance Sunday, that thing. Oh my gosh, Harry, you were a veteran, weren't you? I'm not sure anymore." And then they had to walk it all back. They had to walk it all back. And it's just like, you could have totally avoided all of this. You could have totally avoided having a photo gate. They had a hat gate last year. They make a series of fouls that are just absolutely insane that they don't have to make. But they can't take advice. They can't take criticism, and they can't take guidance, and it shows. This is why they've scrolled through so many PR experts, 11 in 5 years. The reason is them. They have nobody else to blame for the mess that they've made of things but themselves. Every time they could rise above, they fall headfirst into the mud. And that as ever is going to be the story of Prince Harry and Meghan Markle. But you guys let me know what you think. Thank you so much for watching, and I shall speak to you again very soon. Bye.